Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Warchief Radio Podcast. This is episode 7, and my oh my, do we have a guest for episode 7. None other than Lexie, known as BellaDoomKitty. Some of you may know as Isabella Ventura. Basically, the godfather of women's wrestling in core. I say godfather, godmother. Matriarchy, indeed. So, how are you doing today, Lexie?
I'm tired. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just a bit tired because of HXW last night and staying up for the whole talking stream, but we're powering through. We gotta make this content, you know? Gotta make it. So, Lexie, if someone has no idea who you are, how would you best describe yourself to them?
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, fair.
I'm in management for COH, and I run the women's division. I'm also a streamer, and I'm a witch, and I tweet Saturday on Twitter. That's it.
That sounds good to me. I mean, we all know you as a bit more warm-hearted than that, than the witch, as it were. But yes, you've been in core for how long?
3 years in Twitter call community and a year in a separate call community.
Fair play. What do you mean by separate call community? Is there multiple?
So yes. I had this. I don't want to say it was like a league or anything, but I had my call. Like, I made Bella a year before I joined the call community on Twitter, and I was in something called Wrestling Amino, and then I got ran off app because I did something stupid. And then I came to Twitter to find another community because I found a YouTube video of this girl named Kimberly Wu, and I loved her call. She was just so pretty in pink, and pink's my favorite color. So I started my own call Twitter, and someone found me, and they were like, hey, do you want to join my company? I run it on Twitch. And I was like, what the fuck is a Twitch? And then history wrote itself.
And history did write itself. So
yeah,
you come in. So a lot of people have their different ways of coming in. Whether it be comp leads, they made their own fed, and they were just slowly going by. And then someone said, "Bro, this is on Twitter." So you made your own way here, which is. I think everyone does, and you mentioned that you did something stupid. I think everyone does. I know damn well I've done a lot of stupid things.
Mm-hmm.
So your rise into core sort of like it sort of like follows a lot of people's trend. You know, get involved in wrestling, enjoy a little bit of the creating your own guys, find out about the Twitter community, do something stupid, and then learn from it. And I think everyone does that. You look at some of the new guys that join the Twitter community now. You'll see them. Either make a live and say something stupid or any of this, and they'll make a damn lot of mistakes. And I think it's just a case of like making sure they work from that mistake. As long as it's a mistake that you can forgive and not just something purely outright racist or anything like that. But yeah, they'll make their way through. Everyone does. Yeah. Other than that. So you also are in the COH management team. Now in COH management, if I'm not mistaken, you work more as like the creative for women.
Yes, and I offer opinions about people.
Yeah, and you give Lions the deets on what happens on Twitter, right?
Yes, and I do tell him everything that happens on Twitter. I keep my ear to the streets, if you will.
Ear to the streets. That is probably I think that would be my dream job. Just be like, yo. Streets, please be talking. I'll find out everything you need to know, and then just list it all off.
Well, yeah, and we have so many people that DM us. I also run the social media accounts with I run the social media accounts with Brian and Tone, but it's mostly Brian and myself that message people back and forth. So a big part of keeping my ear to the streets is to make sure that people coming in aren't racist or have some type of problematic past that would put the younger people in COH at risk or put other people in COH at risk. So it's kind of a filtering process.
I believe every company should have said filtering process because
yes,
with core especially, there's a mix, right? You get a lot of people who are a bit fucking weird. You get a lot of people who are who think with their penis or their other appendage. and they're not thinking too much. And you've got to realize there's a lot of kids in this community. There's a lot of people that are not legal age. There's a lot of people who.
Yes.
I feel a lot of people grow up a lot in core. You get people who are like 12, and because they've just been around so many adults and stuff,
Yeah.
they just matured quicker, I think. Which is fair. I mean, it happens when you're hanging around adults and stuff, but it's just a bit scary that people don't go. Especially in the community, especially with like you can get these weird fucking people, you know, like the whole role play sort of side of it, where it's like not all role play is bad. Don't get me wrong. The whole like I'm running Corny at the moment, which is the daughter of Townsend, which I think is a good role play. I sense like character wise, it's building. It's something interesting for both Townsend and this side called Courtney. But there's some weird ones that are like, oh my god, ooh woo woo, and you know, I don't
try to
know.
have sex RP and shit.
Yeah, I think everyone who's aware knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, the filtering process, especially for a big company like COH, is very important. You don't want the naughty people coming in because it's just a massive headache above all else, is it not? Like,
oh, trust me, yeah.
Yeah, and COH now, in my opinion, leading core as a community, the hardcore fans. Yes, you have like TCW, but I think TCW is more built for fans, not super fans. I think a lot of people in CCW, in my opinion, is built for fans, but not super fans. Whereas you look at COH, you got a lot of people who are really dedicated.
TCW is a company that is more user friendly and newbie friendly. Jackson kind of, and I like Jackson. I like Jackson now, so I'm not throwing shade, but I think Jackson really has his formula and his community down pat. Like it's like WWE almost. Like you're gonna have loyal fans, but it's also like good for casual viewers. COH is more of a cult favorite. Like it's like the movie Clueless. Like either you know of it and you watch it and you love it and you love all the characters and the fashions and everything, or you don't and you drop in every once in a while and you pop in and out, whatever, and you move on with your life and you just cease to know it exists.
Well, what I will say is with the TCW and COH, TCW, in my opinion, is something I can just drop into and I won't need to know the entire backstory of these people and the entire storylines that are going on. But the product in itself is entertaining. Whereas I think for COH, for you to fully get the most satisfaction from that product, you need to have an idea of what's going on.
Yes.
Like you need to know this guy's feuding that guy, and this guy's been world champion, and Tone White here is main event how many WrestleCades, and you just need that sort of understanding for you to fully enjoy it, right?
Right.
And I think that it's they complement each other. I mean, if you're someone very dedicated and you can get into knowing all Lord God knows, I don't know everything that's happening in core, but people who are very knowledgeable of that, I think will enjoy COH more because it's like, okay, I'm gonna know everything I can throw at this. Whereas if you're a casual person, you don't know all the history. You can sit down and watch TCW. Like I can sit down and watch TCW after not watching it for like weeks.
I do. I pop in all the time. Like I like the way Jackson tells his stories, and I don't want to turn this into something about Jackson COH versus TCW, but like I really enjoy Jackson's commentary. He's very inviting. He's very warm, and to top it all off, he's a very nice person. From the conversations I've had with him. Always very kind. His community is very welcoming. I really like the way that they are. Whereas in COH, it's kind of like everybody knows everybody in the chat. It's a community, but it's like, again, that cult following. Like everybody knows about it. Everybody in there knows the story. Like in the chat, sometimes Carmen and I will go back and forth and we'll make jokes, and newbies don't know what we're talking about. They'll ask questions. Sometimes that gets overlooked, etc. So, two different sides of the same coin.
There's a lot of inside jokes as well. If you look like the whole Zach Sanchez thing and like the whole "Don't you motherfuck me," that line is a fantastic.
Right.
And I think it's just I don't know. It's nice to see though. It's nice. Like I think both products are very good. I can sit down and watch both of them. I think Lyons and Jackson are great commentators. When you look at other feds, I think Michael Boom is also a great commentator. So like those three, I'd say are like the forefathers of commentating in the community. I think personally, I think they are Boom's got the energy, Lyons has got the storytelling, Jackson's got the charisma and like the how when he commentates, you really go over like he could probably sell me like my own left foot. Like he's really good, and I enjoy all three products. CCW, I don't watch as much as HXW and COH just because I don't have a direct involvement in it. But if I'm sitting down on either a Sunday evening, a Monday, and I think the other one's on. I don't know. They have the dates. I know what the one's on Sunday. I think one's on Monday, and I don't know when the other one is.
Who for TCW?
Yeah,
I don't know. I just know when it goes off on my phone. I tune in.
Yeah, it's Warzone. Is it Warzone? I can't bloody remember.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I just
all I know is that Jackson's very nice and his management team's very nice, and that the show and the quality and the amount of work that they put in, and to top it all off, how welcoming their community is. That's very rare to find in CAW companies, especially like companies as big as TCW. Like it's big. It's not just like, oh, CAW. It's just like the whole Twitch community. Like people who don't even watch wrestling, at least from what I've observed. So I respect them and their products, and it's fucking dope.
I think I respect.
I'm so glad we're back on good terms too, because like I miss watching TCW so bad and seeing like some of the women talent that they have and the stories that they put in, and their promo shows are really good. A lot of emotion. They take their time with it. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, same with me. I can, like I was saying, I can sit down. Like if I haven't watched for 2 weeks, I can sit down and still get an understanding of what's happening.
Yeah, and that's important. That's important. So
which is good. And I perfectly agree with it. It's fine. I think I think anyone who runs a Fed deserves a certain amount of respect. I've been.
Fuck yeah, that's a lot of work. Even with management,
especially for like one that's successful and gets like a lot of endorsement and a lot of involvement from people. Like me, Bill Dunn, and Bowen, we ran our Fed, and I don't imagine it'd be as much work as it was like running COH or something.
Yeah.
But we had like, oh god damn, this pay-per-view logo, how we're gonna make it, and like we have those troubles, but it's a lot more with COH and TCW and all these other companies, because
what's funny? We have for COH we have like 2-3 booker meetings a week, right? So I think it's just 2. We have one Monday night after Raw. We have one Wednesday after NXT, and then that's it. And 50% of the time we're just bullshitting, just talking about whatever.
I mean, as long as you're enjoying yourself, right? I mean, I think everyone needs to hype up the fact that this isn't the be all and end all. This is a hobby, and we should enjoy it as such. I mean,
well, and then with some people, like I'm not going to speak for Lions, but I kind of am at the same time. Like for some people, this is his job. Like this is his job. So what I do and what the rest of management does is we handle everything else, and he works on what he does best, because we understand that sometimes it's, especially myself and Breon, because we stream, we understand how stressful it is to stream, and the Lions has to grab calls, and he has to make sure everything's right before a show, and make sure the streaming quality's up there with what people expect of it. And so what our job is to alleviate some of that pressure, which is why Breon and I run Uprising, and then everyone else kind of like Carter is delegated to do other things. Like he does what he can, he helps out, he grabs calls, he works on move sets and stuff. And by works on move sets, I mean he goes through the move set list, etc. And then Tone is just the jack of all trades. Everybody goes to him and he goes to them, and sometimes I get a little pissy because people come to him so much, and like he's my husband, so I like to spend time with him too. But if anybody needs anything and they can't contact Lions or anybody else, they go to him and he handles the situation. So that's our job as management, is to help so that he can focus on his job.
But he does a damn good job of doing it, I think. He's honestly, I think he's probably one of the best around. Like he's been here 7 years in running the show. 7 years.
Longer. For COH.
Yeah.
I'd have to ask. I think it's like 8 years or something like that. I know he's been in the community for probably over 10 years.
But yeah, he's been here long, like what, 5 times as
Real
long
long
as me?
time.
5 times as long as
Yeah.
me. And like that's just like incredible. I think like
Right.
so I think he deserves a lot of respect for it. I think
Mhm.
you get people who haven't been here 5 minutes and they don't give this respect, but I think we can all establish like, well, they're a bit of an asshole and move on. I think
Oh, Tone just texted me. 8 years is right.
oh, fact checker Tone, you've got his encyclopedia out. He's like flipping through the pages,
I
fact checking us.
Our apartment's small, so I think he can hear through the through our wall. I'm in our room in my office, so he can hear me through the wall in the living room. And I told him not to come in here during. It's my show, damn it.
Yes, it's your time, not his.
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah.
play,
Every time I come into something, it's always like, oh, where's Tone? No, it's my time. It's me. It's not me.
So Toad's just been like sitting on the couch, probably watching a WCW pay-per-view or something, and just waiting.
Yeah, actually, he's probably playing a game. We've been having these Mortal Kombat tournaments every morning.
Oh.
So he's probably trying to figure out how to make me look bad again.
Well, just learning the cheat codes and all that, yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
because that's the only way he can win.
the only way he can win.
Shame.
Well, yeah, regardless, I mean, it's nice that you two have, like, found a life with each other from core as well. But I mean,
yeah,
like, it's just all those hard one pieces, like, oh, that makes sense, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cute, and I don't know, you and him are quite funny. I remember being like calls and he's driving you places and he's like, I want to get food, and you're just like, no food. So
thank you. It's a good balanced relationship.
I can't remember what the exact circumstances were, but it was something about he wanted food, and you were just like, you had the option 5 minutes ago. You can't have it now.
Oh yeah, I told him. Oh god, that's constant with him. Like, we'll go out somewhere, and the thing about these EFET people is that they hold him up to this like pedestal of a god. Like, people think of him as like the end all be all, and just Thomas, like, he's just my husband, and he can't get away with that godly like shit around my house. I wish the fuck he would try.
So you're the person that puts the god in his place.
Yes,
I think that's a tremendous role to have. You know, I think
thank you. I try.
Sort him out, put him in his place, and well, we'll see. keep him down to earth, as it were, instead of he just
yeah.
So you hear that, folks. Without Lexie, Toe White would be on a cloud somewhere, probably being a god, doing whatever. You know, that's an essential job right there.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping him in place. Anyway,
I try.
Now, we need to focus on what is actually happening this episode, and it's more focus on you, not Tone. We'll have Tone hopefully sometime in the future, but we're now focusing on you. So, you are, as a woman, how has your time been in the community? Because there's not many women in the community, but how's that been for you?
Stressful. Like, being a woman's hard enough. You know, just gaming and being in a gaming community in general. Being a black woman in gaming is stressful enough, and then being a black woman in CAW, and it's just it's hard. It's very stressful. It's very hard. I'm always criticized for what I have to say. It's very hard, very stressful.
Well,
yeah,
it sounds stressful. Like, you got a lot of. I can't think of a better word than simps in this community. A lot of people that as soon as they hear a woman, they're like, oh. You see it quite a lot. It's quite off-putting. It's a bit weird, but you see it happen, and I can't imagine that sort of weird attention that you'd probably get. And we're all here at the end of the day for wrestling. I say wrestling, showing off ideas and all this. So we'll just have to see. But it doesn't like. It's just very difficult, isn't it? But from your point of view, when it comes to booking women, how's that changed from back when you first started to now?
So, in order to give you my opinion, I'll just tell you how I started. So, at least in a position of power. So, I was offered a management position to help book the women and I'm using air quotes over here, by a company that's no longer around anymore. And my ideas were constantly put down. And I faced a little bit of pushback from other people in the other booking teams in that specific place because my ideas were similar, I guess. But even though like it's a game, like I couldn't. There's very little that we could do at that time because I think it was like 2016. 2017, somewhere around there. So there were a lot of things that I couldn't. A lot of things were going to be similar because we had so many limitations in the game, and I didn't know half of what I know now. So I started there, and then I ended up leaving because I constantly kept getting screwed over. People kept stepping on my toes, and I was just done with it. And then I was told not to join COH several times by someone that my call was quote unquote RP dating at the time. And, you know, that's water under the bridge. Nobody's butthurt about it anymore. But I finally had a conversation with the person who brought me in kind of into this part of the community. And they told me to talk to Tone. And I did. And Lyons kept telling me in that conversation, I don't quite recall when he got into the mix, but he was there and he wanted me in COH. He wanted me in COH. He wanted me specifically in Honor Bound because he felt like I had something to offer. And I remember someone telling me verbatim, Lyons doesn't care what he has to do or what I have to do. He wants you in Honor Bound. So I was like, okay, I've heard this and I want to address my concerns. And they did. And they told me the full story, and I ended up joining. A couple months later, in like March, I think, Tony and I started seeing each other, and I was privy to conversations then in management about certain things. So I asked them because I saw their Twitter page was like fucking awful. Like it was god awful for both COH and Honor Bound. So I offered to take over it for them because I had experience in running a social media account and I was very tech savvy. I was very creative. So I ran the COH stuff or the Twitter accounts, and I asked Tone one day, I was like, so if I'm a part of the COH Twitter account team, am I technically a part of management? And he was like, yeah, I guess that could be conceived that way. I guess perceived that way. Like, so I asked them to add me to the management chat. They did, and the rest is history. I weaseled my way into management just like that.
So you got there basically, and I mean, thank goodness
I
you did.
finessed my way into the power.
Well, thank goodness you did, because I feel with having a woman in running the booking team, I think it did wonders for the women's division, even the upcoming with the WrestleCade 6 match where you main evented WrestleCade. I think it's worked very well for the women's side of things. So how was so like let's say when you first started, how was women perceived compared to now? Like were they perceived?
They
as
weren't.
Like
that was the problem. Like, okay, so when I first started, we still had the COH Facebook page, which, wow. If anybody could ever, I know, I think I still have access to look at everything that's in there because I never left the group. And I think Mercer still is the only moderator on there. So I would have to screenshot some stuff and bring it over to the COH Discord. But the COH Facebook page was something only. It was like ECW. Like it was unfiltered. It was raw. Like Brett used to go, or Mercer used to go live like every day when he was coming home from work, and he would have these promos like live in the car. He would just be cutting a fucking promo driving down the highway, like just authentic, real stuff like that. So I don't remember what the point was for that. Oh yeah, okay, so women. So women would constantly go back and forth on there, and that was the only outlet that we really had. And even then, women were held to the standard that they are now. I had to really fight for that. Because when I first came in, it was, why aren't women getting more matches? And the answer was that people don't really care about the women that we have right now. So it was a struggle to get them to see what, and I'm not saying that they were sexist or anything. I'm not saying that they didn't believe in anything, but like, for fuck's sake, when I first started, they were having bra and panties matches. Like, come on.
Well, I mean,
Like, I could tell there was no women's input into this. None.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but regardless, correct me if I'm wrong, but back then, was there not a lot of women's wrestlers who were actually women and could actually promo? Because I know a big criticism of today is like, oh, why isn't there any women's matches and whatnot? And it's always a case of there is not enough, like, back when we run the dreaded CAC, when we were thinking about getting a women's division, there was like, what woman can promo? Will their promos be good? Will people be interested?
That kind of thinking was there at the time, and that was in a lot of places that didn't have quote unquote women or people who sounded feminine enough to portray a woman. And I think that way of thinking is bullshit. And here's why. Because you don't have to sound like a traditional woman or a cisgendered woman in order to be a woman. Like, if a woman comes in here with a deep ass voice and sounds like Barry White, and she says like, "Hey, I'm Isabella Ventura, and I'm here to work, bitch," I'd be like, "Okay, yes, okay, let's get this promo going. All right, I like that." It doesn't matter what gender you are outside of Caw or what you sound like or whatever. If you have a woman Caw or a female, or if you female identifying Caw or whatever, if you have a woman Caw and you want a promo, then promo. It doesn't care. I don't care if you sound like a man. Who gives a shit?
I think
Like,
I agree. I agree with that sentiment. I agree. I agree.
Right, and we had Serena in our company, who was a man out of character, and he used a voice changer during promo.
Rob Kamen.
I mean,
and he was
that
great. Kamen was great.
Right, but like at the time when we when I came into booking, that kind of stuff wasn't really done. It was kind of discriminatory, and it wasn't COH specifically. It was a lot of companies that were like that. Like, they wanted real authentic, or quote unquote real authentic women, or cisgendered women is what they wanted. And I think in this community that's just unrealistic. Like, why can't everybody that has a female Caw be given the same opportunities as you would give a woman, like a cisgendered woman?
Yeah, I agree. I think if you put in the work to promo, you can promo well. I think women, yes, they can promo. There may be like a thing of confidence, and I think it's a case of trying to empower said women to, hey, listen, you can promo, you can do it.
Right.
Like, people aren't gonna mind. I think Kamen did a tremendous job. I think the problem with maybe the booking aspect was, if you can't, like, especially with companies that rely on these promos to build their stories, like, I think COH revolves like, story is pretty much built. Like, they give you the bare bones during the show, like, for the matches of what happens, and then you have to promo it and turn that into a great story. And
and that's why when I got into a little bit more of a control position, I thought that they should start implementing Twitter promos into storylines like we do now. I didn't see why people who weren't able to talk or didn't feel comfortable enough to talk should be discounted if they're putting in the work on Twitter, because that's just another platform. Talk about it on the show.
I think
there's no problem with that.
I think that's a unisex thing. Like, if they put effort in on Twitter, they might, like, I think there's a lot of people who are shy to promo, right? A lot of people are shy of doing this.
I am.
Yeah, regardless of being male or woman, you have that. You can be scared about it, and you may not want to promo, but you promo a lot on the timeline, right? On Twitter. And I feel, yes, they should be guaranteed. But I think if you look at what makes a really good character, and you think of, like, the big guys in court, they promo. Like, you think of a Liam Mercer, he promos. You look at Tone White, Tone promos. And
Mhm.
I think that's just, I think it's just a thing that's been established that if you really want to make it and you really want to do well, you got to do the promo work because that's what gets
Right.
people's attention. And unfortunately,
Right.
like I think it'll be a mission and a half to try and change that, because I think people will look at it and be like, okay, yes, I can look on Twitter and read it, but if I'm hearing it, and you hear the emotion, you get more into it. I think people like Zoe Zombie, I think people like Andrea, yourself, Nay, Jada Storm, these people who have promoted and well have been wonders for the women's division because it got people interested. You look at Iris, you look at Iris and Zoe Zombie, their feud, that got everyone interested, and I think that's just because promoting is such a big thing. And trying to break that apart and trying to give people equal opportunities and everything, and be like, okay, we want you guys to promo on Twitter, because if you're not happy to promo on hard mic, it's not the end of the world, yes, but I feel a lot of people who are considered like one of the bests are always there on hard mic, and I think that's what the booking comes from, because if you're seeing just people text, you're not really interested. If you're like, it's also if you're someone who's a dreadful promo. I mean, there's people who I fall asleep listening to, and I feel that they need to improve, and in doing that, to make them interesting. I think universally, if you're interesting and you're entertaining and you get people to react to you, then you get booked better in terms of like you get put in storylines and you get opportunities, right? And unfortunately, with people, I think it's a case of empowerment. You've got to make people feel empowered to promo, make them feel confident to promo.
If you hear loud noises, it's just my neighbors sweeping their carpet for some reason. I don't know why they do that. Continue. I'm sorry.
I can't hear anything. No way. But it's a case of empowerment, making people feel like, okay, I'm ready. I can promo, and then when you promo, you'll get the opportunities, and people will be like, "That's a very good promo." Or help. I think everyone's. I don't think anyone in the community is awfully negative to make you, to put you down on a promo. I think criticism is good because then you use that criticism to be better. But I don't think anyone in the community is. And there probably is, but I think everyone deems them as cunts. But they're like, you get people who I feel they'll encourage you, and they'll be like, okay, this was good. I think you went a bit too long, but it was good overall. Work on trying to figure out what you want to say before you try and say it, because you stumble a lot, like I'm doing now in the podcast. But it's just a case of that. Like, I think it's just a case of building people's confidence up. There's people like Tora Troy and Sarah Troy and all these other people who I believe can definitely promo. But maybe they're just not feeling up to it, you know. Like, I don't want to go on a big show and be like.
Well, it's not only just that, but a lot of us have jobs. Like me specifically, when hard mic's on, I'm at work. Like I work 10 to 6 every day, almost, well, except for weekends now. But you know, I have stuff that I have to do. Other people have stuff that they have to do. So the alternative is to go on Twitter, which is why we promote. We retweet and like and put on our timeline, you know, the promos that are on Twitter, and then in turn, those people who post the promos on Twitter post it in our Discord, so everybody that's watching, because almost everybody that watches is in COH, everybody that's watching is there and they can see what's going on here. I know with a lot of the women, they coordinate, they get together, they send each other promos, we'll go back and forth. I know that's what I did with certain people in COH, and then, you know, I also have Breon, you know, God bless him, that picks up the slack for me and you know, promos on my behalf, and we've come up with a whole storyline as to why I don't promo and why I can't be there. And that's, you know, it just, other people make it work for them. I don't necessarily think it's a it could be a short attention span thing for some people, but like, I think if you're willing to watch the product and you're willing to make an effort to watch it on hard mic, you can make that much more of an effort to catch what's going on the COH page on Twitter, and keep yourself involved in those storylines. So there's so many options and different courses that there's no excuse anymore.
Well, like, believe me, I know how difficult it is to make hard mic,
right,
due to being British and everything, and how it's God knows what o'clock in the morning. Like, I generally thought I would not be able to promo, but I've been a big pain in the ass to my parents and just been there like, listen, I'll shut the door and I'll try and be quiet, but from 1 o'clock onwards, I'll have to promo, and they've been very understanding. My mum was like, "What the fuck are you doing? God damn it, go out and get a job and all this shit." With the current climate at the moment, especially in Britain, most of the jobs that you're applying for, they're not willing to hire people at the moment because of the whole situation.
Right.
If you look at it, there's like basically when the supermarkets were hiring because they knew they were going to have to get more people. Well, as soon as I think they overgot too many people, and all people went for those jobs. When that was happening, I was not in. I wasn't even near my home. I was in university, right? So I couldn't really. I could have taken the initiative and looked. Okay, I'm going to try and get this, but at the time I was like, oh, I've got exams to focus on. So now it's just a case of like I've got to keep myself busy, and this is one of the main reasons what I'm doing to make myself busy. But yeah, I feel with the troubles that is being able to go on live shows and promoing. Whether it be timing and all this, that, and other, I think that's it's a universal issue with everyone. Like sometimes you can't get on, sometimes you're not feeling sometimes you're not feeling like strong enough to go on, and I feel that is I feel that's something that everyone can work on. I think we're all overwhelmingly positive. I mean, like I get messages from people being like, that detective segment, that one that you did with Crude, fantastic, and it's like, oh, thank you. It's good to get that feeling, and I think with promos and people like that was a damn good promo. I think that's a good feeling as well. I think we're quite positive as a community. To be fair, on most things, I don't think.
We have our moments.
Oh,
I definitely for a while in COH in the last couple years, I've felt zero support from certain roster members. And it's because I'm sorry.
You get the bad eggs. I think.
Yeah, no, and it's because I chose the role of the heel. I chose the role of the enforcer, and I don't want to be a face or anything. I want to constantly the reason why I have been a heel for so long is because everybody needs something to fight for. I'm the giving person in the company. So with Andrea, I didn't show up to those hard mics. I let Brian take that. I let Brian do that because I wanted Andrea to drag the fuck out of me because she needs it more than I do. She needed that more than I did. She needed to make her name off of herself. And that's what the women in this company have done. I know that before there was an issue with someone thinking that everybody made a name off of them specifically, and that's not the case. In order to for someone to make a name off of you, you have to have a name. You have to be there. You have to have history. You have to have all of that shit. So when I do things, I get zero support, as a call. Now Lexie, I get kind of some support, but a lot of people don't know how to feel about me because I come across as a bitch sometimes. Because I have to be the enforcer. I'm all about rules, and structure, and feeling like people should act a specific way, which I know is unrealistic. I'm working on myself. I'm a work in progress every day. But it's just I don't get a lot of support as a call. I don't get a lot of cheers as a call because I am a heel and I have been a heel for so long. So people just think that's my personality. I'm a cheater and I lie and I'm late or whatever. So that's definitely gotten me down. And it made me feel like I didn't even need to be in the company anymore. And if it weren't for the management team and some of the girls coming to me and being like, hey, you are that bitch. Without you, we wouldn't have these opportunities, etc. Without you and Brian, we wouldn't have these opportunities. It's uplifting. My girls always uplift me. At least the women we have now always uplifts me. So it's give and take with the men we have. It's give and take.
I think support wise, I think not universally, but for the majority, we get a lot of people who build people up instead of just taking them down. I can't. Yes, there's people who I think people in the know about what happened in HXW yesterday during the build up to during the main event and the Talking Extreme just pre-bit. Yes, you get your bad egg. You get your bad egg because you're a fucking idiot, right? And it puts everyone down.
I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna agree with you anyway.
Yeah, but you get those types of people who just want to put people down, I guess, and they
Always,
maybe they
always.
think to themselves they're the reason people are watching, and maybe they think they're too much, they're that big of a deal, but they'll put people down in some way, being like, "Oh, that promo was fucking shit.
Right.
Mine's so much better," or some shit. You'll get people like that, and unfortunately, that's just the case. You get people who are immature, and you get that with court, you get that with real life. It happens.
Right.
But I think with the
I've
community,
grown a thicker skin. I mean, that's how the problematics was started, because people hated myself and Brian for being honest and sharing our opinions when when people ask for them, and even sometimes when they don't ask for them. Like we come across as abrasive and kind of like looking out for ourselves. And there was a problem with someone where they were like, oh, nobody wants Lexie to lose the title. She's had it for so long, and this is just like an example of poor management, etc. And it wasn't that I wanted to keep it for so long; it was that I literally could not lose it. And it created so many storylines for so many people. Like, everybody likes the story of how the underdog overcomes the big bad heel. So like, there was a story with Serena that I did that was supposed to happen, but they ended up leaving and were getting rid of that call to bring in another. But I held on to that Intercontinental Championship for so long because I wanted to build Serena up to be that big baby face. Like, I wanted her to have that opportunity, because at the time Andrea was in a storyline that didn't fit her, and that personal opinions aside, it didn't, and it put her down. And I wasn't even looking at her as a contender for top babyface. Like, I was keeping my eye on her, but it just wasn't in the cards, as they say, or at least as I say. So I was really booking and wanting Serena to be that top babyface, and then things fell through, and then it was just like, oh, okay, great. I'm here with a title I don't want, haven't wanted for months, and nobody to fight me for it. Great. So then Andrea was put in a situation where she, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I can't speak facts because I don't know the backstory, well, not the entire backstory, but Andrea was, somebody left, and Andrea was left with no storyline, no anything, because the majority of her character had been built off of this other person, in my opinion. So Andrea got her shit together, and she was like, okay, I'm not gonna let this shit define me. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna turn lemons into lemonade. And she did. And I said, okay, we're going full force with this then. Like, we're gonna do this. Because Andrea is, I love Andrea as a person out of character, and I love Andrea as a cop. She is loudmouth, ghetto sometimes, and this I don't mean to say ghetto, but she is a loudmouth. She has opinions, honey, and she's gonna fucking tell you how she feels. She's funny, she's honest, and she has a personality, and that's something that was missing. That was the one. Andrea was the missing piece. Andrea was the person that I wanted to drop my title to.
I'll say this: Andrea is fantastic. I cannot preach 100% how great Andrea is.
Yeah.
I've talked to her in Discord calls and all that. She's a fantastic person behind the scenes. She understands this because when it was CAC again, we scheduled who's winning, who's losing for storylines, and she was more than happy to lose. She was more excited that she was in a situation where she could do story. And goddamn, I fucking hate the fact that CAC is over. Some little baby couldn't handle something and then threw his toys out of the pram, but fucking well, we have to move on with these things. I think me and you both know he threw his toys out of the pram a lot, whether it came to retirement or whatever.
We'll get into it.
I don't know, but anyway, I feel bad for her then because she was going to be the biggest thing in CAC, but she really is going ham with what she's doing at the moment. She hammers it home. I think she's probably one of the top prospects at the moment. I say prospect, she's already there, but I think she's one of the top women at the moment in terms of like character and stuff, because she is the embodiment of her character. She is wham bam thank you ma'am, like.
Yeah. No, she's better than an Isabella Ventura. She's better than a Zoe Zombie. She's better than that Mount Rushmore, and she's going up there. Like, and that's no shade to Zoe or anybody else. Like, because Nay and I put in that fucking work, and Zoe did too. But like, we put in that work so we could have other people build off of what we built. So like, we can get into the start of the Uprising division in a minute, but like the whole purpose was so that people like Andrea would have a place to thrive. Like, I genuinely think Andrea deserves the fucking moon. She really does, because she puts in the work, and I feel myself getting a little emotional, but she is everything I wanted when Brianna and I started Uprising. Everything. And I'm
She's
so glad we
fantastic,
have
hands
her.
down.
A fucking gem.
She
A
is
fucking gem.
She's honestly great. I hope I hope she's doing well. I've not talked to her in like I think a couple of days, but yeah,
Miss Andrea's got an update. She's coming. She's coming for the girls, so they better get ready. Like, I'm ready for. Like, I have my own plans for next year's WrestleCade, but I eventually want to retire as a CAW and just stick in management, because what the fuck is the point? Or be a manager or manage my husband or keep the going. But like, with the roster we have now, like, as much as Andrea is definitely like a staple, without all the women, we wouldn't, and all the women putting in equal amounts of work, we wouldn't have what we have now, and we wouldn't have had a successful Uprising recently. You know, like an Iris and a Tora and everybody else that we have on the roster right now. Like, I couldn't imagine a more perfect roster, and they make it so that I don't have to be as present. They make it so that I don't have to be as involved. They carry the weight.
They've changed the division from being dependent on you to more of an independent feel where it doesn't need to.
Yeah, because last year, I mean, in 2019 for WrestleCade, like, it felt like it was just the 4 people that were in the main event. It felt like it was just us, and like, looking back at that, there was a lot that happened with that, and a lot that's happened since then. But like, I think honestly it needed to happen. That main event needed to happen in order for us to grow. And that's no shade, that's no tea, no lemonade. That's just how it was. That main event needed to happen.
I agree.
We needed to be held on that pedestal so that the women could build off of that, and they did. And they've made Uprising so much better.
The same way they did in WWE, the women needed that main event, so they officially were just as good as the men, if not more. I think they needed that, and it worked well. I think.
And that was my pitch for the Uprising division.
Well, yeah, I think you're doing a very good job. I think you're doing a very good job. I think if you get 1 or 2 more Andreas, I think the Uprising division will be more. There'll be more Uprising division content than there should be, than there would be for the men. I think. I like the fact that it's there, because it's telling. I think if it gives us competition, I think it'll make everyone stop dragging their heels and be like, oh, we need to work, you know, like that's just what you get from competition. If you're sitting around, you're thinking to yourself, oh, I'm a bit complacent, I'm happy where I am. You need that kick up the ass to say, hang on, you can work harder, get going, essentially push yourself more so you can try and do more.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very important thing that you need.
I think the girls do fine now. Like, they promo on Twitter, and they put it out there, and they show up the hard mic, and I think you are right. I think that they're like irises, and we need more women that we have now. Exactly. I'm hopeful for Lulu. She seems really dope. I like her. So I'm hopeful that Lulu can, really make a mark here. And just grow as a person and as a talent, because she has such a cult following.
Yeah, I think she's very well spoken. I've had 1 or 2 conversations with her. I think she gets it, and she, albeit she's not a massive fan of the WWE product, and she's not a very massive fan of wrestling as a whole, but I think she understands the community. I love it. I think if you just go into your living room, you'll find someone who loves the WWE product. I mean, absolutely loves it. Anything else is trash.
I know. I know.
But like, yeah, I think there's a lot of promise in it. I think with Lulu, I think she can definitely get the job done per se. I think she's definitely good.
Yeah.
A lot of people are. I think this will come out on Wednesday. So do I spoil something or not? Well, I won't say spoil because I won't tell you what it's about. But I will say for all those listening and that are a part of HXW, do expect a Lulu Moretti segment because we have got that in the books planned.
Yes.
So for the Super Show, we are going to get a Lulu Moretti detective segment. I don't know if that'll make people pop or be, oh, for fuck's sake, these detective cunts again. Which is great. I love what we're doing as the detectives. I think Crude at the moment is probably one of, if not the top prospect for Core. I think he's been a hidden gem for way too long. APH, another guy that I'm ecstatic about. I think APH puts in a lot of hard work. He's great and his promo is good. But I don't want to compare him, but in my opinion, just because I'm working with a lot more with Crude, I think APH got a lot of promise, but Crude, honestly, all he needs is like that guy, one girl, or anything like that. Just be like, listen, you're great, work hard, and you'll do it, and you'll fucking do it. Like, he's
I think
fantastic.
everyone needs that, especially women's divisions. Like,
everyone has that, yeah.
I feel like so many people, like, as much as they say they care about women, they don't actually care about women. And it takes a special person to really give their women's division the support that they need. And I'm glad that we have Lions in our corner that that can really uplift us and give us what we need and just be open to all our ideas and stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Fedos that they'll really look out for the women's division. I think one of the best to do it is LGF, which is Eddie Reed's company with Tora Troy and whatnot, and they have like 3 women's matches a show compared to 4 men's matches, I think. So it's like there's a pretty even split, and you see it's just as much women as you do men. And I think that's very. I think their shows today actually, they've got a pay-per-view today that Courtney, my sideboard, is on, and it's for the Women's International Championship. I think International Intercontinental, one of those two. But yeah, Women's International Championship, which I think is going to be fun. I think it's a very big weekend. This today as well. You got Fame, you got COH, and you've got LGF running. It's going to be a very not messy weekend, but a super weekend.
Yeah, it's super packed.
It's packed, and I love weekends like this. I think was it the WrestleCade one that was packed. There was another one just after that.
Show before. And they canceled because of like pizza or something, or no? What am I thinking of the right thing?
Yeah. There was that whole pizza incident.
Yeah, and then it happened, or our pay-per-view happened, and then somebody went on like in the middle of it, and it's a lot of content. I'm excited. I can't wait to watch Fame. I know I've had my run-ins with some Simmers, which I'm sorry, Simmers, I love you. Please don't hate me, but I'm so excited. Like Tone's on it, so
Tone and Liam Mercer versus Connor Smoke and Danny Black, is it?
I don't know.
I think it's Danny Black, but honestly, the match looks great. I'm not too savvy with Sim. I enjoy watching like the little clips they put on Twitter. I'm sure if I push myself to it, I would go out and find the content I'd like to watch, but at the moment, I'm just taking like a chill pill from Overlook because you don't want to burn yourself out. And I think if I watch a lot of core content, I'll burn myself out. Doing the detectives is fun, and I laugh at it myself, so I'm happy doing that. Honorbound, I think, is where my main, like, I say burning out. I think my main pushing efforts, like Honorbound, I think I'm very serious. You know, like I'm a serious Townsend, like angry boy. Podcast, here I am. I think I'm chill. I hope I am the chill. I'm not too sure. But and then you got Detective Townsend in HXW, and that's just a barrel of laughs. I love it, and I feel I'll say this as advice for anyone listening. You should definitely have that. Definitely have a chill, like I can laugh at this, and a serious, because your serious side for that way, you're gonna try and work the hardest to be, because then you can try and make your legacy, right? Like on a mound, I want to build my legacy and I want to be that guy. So I'm more serious, I'm more focused, and all that. You look at Detective Townsend in HHW. That's a barrel of laughs, and I think it like we'll talk about barrels of laughs for a second, and like how things get over scarily, because we are talking to the person who made the shed. But it's just generally nice to have that thing to laugh at. And then podcasting here, I feel this is a platform to express myself and express others who come on. I think a lot of people are like if you're not someone who generally talks to someone, like you were saying before, like you're not someone who goes out and talks to everyone. But I think when people listening and have more of an idea about you, I think that helps everyone. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like only a few people know like who I am and how I am and how I react to things, and even like I've changed in the last 2 months, and I know people are like, oh, that's impossible. I have genuinely changed in the last couple months. Like I've gone through a lot of transformation personally, spiritually, and all that. So you know, I'm not always available if you reach out to me, because I need my own space. But if you ever want to talk, just talk. Like I post memes all the time, and I talk about other things. But enough about that. Let's talk about women. Let's talk about women. So what do you want to know?
What do I want to know? Well, I think we covered quite a lot today about the general rise to it. So tell me how the Uprising division started.
Okay.
So what was the like? I know you've touched on it a bit before, but I want to know like how, like what was the struggles at the start and whatnot. Like you've touched on why it started with you and Brian.
When I started, Brian had just been brought into management, and he had booked the women's division over in another company. They fell out, or no, he was still doing that when we started Uprising, or when we were thinking about starting Uprising. I had gone to Evolution in 2018, I believe is when it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was 2018.
I think it is.
I'm gonna look 1 second. I'm pretty sure, but I want to be absolutely accurate when I say this.
Are we waiting for the text from Tone?
Evolution pay-per-view. Yep, 2018. So October of 2018, I went to Evolution, and I got to breathe the same air as Nikki Bella. I think that's a very important part of the story. I got to see some awesome women's wrestlers, people that I looked up to, and like I was in awe. Like I cried, and I also met Joey Gallagher there, but the most important
I saw
thing everything.
Is the same era as Nikki Bella, right?
Yeah, no, it's meeting Joey was great, but breathing the same air and being in the same building as Nikki Bella, definitely life accomplishment. Like definitely, and I'm not even fucking joking. I'm being very serious. That was a life accomplishment. So I we went there, and then I came back because Brian was supposed to go with me, but he didn't this time because of something that happened at work. And I came back, and I was like, okay, I want that. We need to start our own women's division. I had been pushing for it for ever, and I was always told, not right now, we don't have enough women, not enough dedication, etc. And finally, I put my foot down, and I was like, Lions, we need a women's division. We need a actual women's division, because I'm tired of this shit. So he said, okay, think of everything, and we'll reevaluate come after Christmas break or something like that. So I worked with Brian on everything that we possibly needed up into the name. I put it past Lions. He was like, okay, I like it. Go ahead. And just to put this out there, Lions was always a big supporter, but it was just hesitant because it was something new. So I was like, we have enough women to do it now. I think we had just gotten somebody back in the company, and I was kind of close with them, and I wanted them to be a part of that event, and I started getting more women involved and wanted them to be a part of that event. I kept it a secret because I didn't want anybody knowing, but I worked on the logo, I worked on everything, I came up with a plan. Brian helped me, and Uprising was born in January. That's when we decided we were going to give this a go in the new year. So you know, that first initial feeling of everyone not knowing what Uprising was and what Uprising Division was going to be about was scary. I had a lot of anxiety because I didn't know how it was going to be perceived. And it wasn't perceived very well because people thought I was copying off of somebody else. But I can't copy off of somebody when I didn't watch the product, you know? So I got in contact with that person because they had been liking some tweets in criticism of us. So I got with them and I was like, hey, I just like women's wrestling. I've always liked women's wrestling. I'm here for the women. I don't give a shit about the men or the politics. I'm here for our girls. And that was the end of it. And after that, we got a lot of support. Because when I announced the Uprising Division, I also announced the Uprising show, the very first all women's pay-per-view. So that's how Uprising started.
So
I didn't think I know a lot of the men didn't like it. I know that a lot of men didn't think that the women deserved it because they didn't quote unquote put in enough work. But I think that's bullshit. The women put in just as much, if not more, of the work than the men, and they deserve that support. And the first Uprising was very successful because of that. I put in a lot of work. I made everything from scratch. I made the logo. I mean, down to the woman on the logo, I made the logo. Like, I put in a lot of money, time, and effort into it, and it was a huge success, and the women liked it, and that's what launched everything from that point on. And look where we are now. Like our first actual pay-per-view. Like that's amazing. The first one was just an honor bound special, and now we're at our own pay-per-view. Like that's crazy.
yeah, I mean, a lot of work's gone into it, and I think the work's paid off, if not still paying off, which is very important for a lot of people, I think. Yeah, I think a lot of people needed that work per se, and like they needed to. I don't know. I think people are very happy with how things are working. I think it's a long road. It's a long road, and hopefully, it's paying off. I don't know. I think I enjoy watching the content. I don't know if that's for everybody, but I enjoy it. I think that people need to also take into account with the women and whatnot. There is a lot of the mentality of if it's not got anything to do with me in it, I'm not going to listen. You know, there's a lot of that.
And that's a lot. Yeah, there is a lot of that, and that was very present with some of the comments that I've heard from other men on the roster. Like, if it's not their match, they're not interested. And I see that. Like for a while, there was like a group of people that would leave during women's matches, and that drove me crazy because like the women's matches are the most interesting matches on the card. Like the rest of the card is just a whole bunch of sweaty men just throwing each other around and doing the same exact moves because they want to win. Whereas the women, it's always different. They're always bringing something different to the table, and that's just my perspective. Not everybody feels that way, but I feel as though the women bring a lot to the table, and now we're integrating women into a lot of the storylines to make it even more interesting because we're fucking dope. Like me and Brian forming the Problematics, like, and then Carmen coming in and making it even more interesting, having the mixed match challenge, if you will, or the honor cup, whatever, with the intergender with the mixed tag teams. But you know, we're always making things interesting, we're always doing something different, and I think that, you know, with men they've kind of done all there is to do, but with women there's so much more to do. There's so much more work, so much more. Like just the moment we feel like, okay, so we had our first pay-per-view, where do we go from there?
To
You
the
know,
second one.
are women gonna main event another WrestleCade? I think they should.
I don't know. I think it's up to what the women want. I think it's up to what best fits.
Right.
I think, in my personal opinion, whatever is the hottest storyline going into a WrestleCade should be the main event, and I feel that you can hype that up to people and people will understand that, because to me, I've always lived under the philosophy of, if that, let's say it's let's say it's WrestleMania, right, and the Intercontinental title match storyline is the best one going in and everyone's more hyped for that than anything else, then you put that one on as main event. And I feel it's the same. Like I don't care what the title is. I think there was an example of that in WrestleCade, right? Who was it? Tone and someone. They were fighting for the Intercontinental title, weren't they? And or am I thinking of Wrestle Kingdom in New Japan, where the Intercontinental title came back? Was the main event with Nakamura and someone. God, my mind's racing, but I think whatever's the thing people are most looking forward to should be the main event. And I think if you could give that idea to people, be like, listen, you can be the main event as long as you work hard for it. And like, I think it inspires you to put, okay, if we want the world title match to main event, we put the two best people we can to make that the most interesting storyline going into it, right? Then it's like, you will have that competition of who's having main event. Like, me and Crazy J, our storyline, God be it that maybe no one was listening from. Ladies and gentlemen, hello? Oh no. Boys and girls, the internet has taken a shit. Put in the detectives again. God damn it, Discord! Podcaster Townsend. Oh no, it crashed again.
Discord, you know damn well what you did.
It fucked up the podcast again. Oh well.
Podcast.
We're gonna need to fill in this shit again. We're gonna have to. Oh, sponsors. That's right. This is a word from our sponsors.
Sponsors.
Crude, say who the fucking sponsor is.
Who is our sponsor, Townsend?
Fucking HXW. This is a word from our sponsors.
Word from our sponsors. HXW, Hybrid Extreme Wrestling, home of the detective.
Yeah.
The following is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Different from what it is. This cruel and unusual punishment. I try to stop the thoughts, but end up doing it all again. Why? It's nothing but this feeling inside. Got me acting like I'm out of my mind. Can't breathe, can't sleep, I'm fine. I tell myself I'm fine, but I'm caught. I'm caught in a panic. I'm lost and I'm damaged. Can't find my way. All I want is someone to save me, 'cause I am fading and I can't escape.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, about that. That was just a quick spike in the internet, and I'm sure the detectives kept you pretty entertained while we were just fixing that. I was saying before how whoever should work the hardest should get the main event. And I think whether that be male or female, if you work hard, you get the main event. But yeah, whatever's the most interesting storyline, and I think whatever people are most hyped about should be the main event. And yeah, other than that, like,
Agree.
yeah.
I mean, I agree. I have confidence in the women's division that we will be the most hyped up for as far as a storyline, especially with what I want to happen and what I want to start building very soon. So we'll see. I mean, for fuck's sake, we don't even have a new game, so who knows? Like, what could happen? You know, everything changes. So yeah, but that's how the Uprising division started, and you know, I faced a lot of adversity, and you know, it hasn't been the smoothest ride, but it's been a ride nonetheless, and I like it, and I love it. I liked what Brianna and I have built. I liked what the other women have built. I liked that we were able to main event WrestleCade, which I never thought would happen.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, now the cuts come in, and we just went over the last point. Let's just quickly let's just quickly talk about one thing, right? So we let's address it. Let's move a little bit past the women. Not that we're gonna. We've talked about I can't get my fucking thoughts out. We talked a lot about the women. Now let's talk about something else that I think is a bit of an interesting topic, and that is the shed. So the shed between me and you. Basically, I came into your stream once, told you to make your Sims shed dwellers, and then the formation of the shed became a thing in the Discord. Right. And it was probably one of the most over things I've ever done. And I just want to know your thoughts on it, really. Like, how do you think...
I know, I had a lot of fun in the shed. I liked the shed. There's a temporary shed in the COH Discord right now. The only reason why it went away is because other people who have access to the Discord kept putting poo emojis on it, and since they couldn't be mature, and because I was told it wasn't unique anymore, I took it away, and now it's a special attraction that I'll put in the Discord every once in a while, just to see if people want to come hang out in the shed. Well, and we also have a general Discord, which is literally the shed was just general channel. So.
Well, it was more loved and beloved than the general channel. The general, what a name. No, but I think what happened was people saw it in COH and they felt they needed to replicate it elsewhere. I mean,
that's a common theme.
Redacted saw it, and I don't even think I need to ask Redacted name whether or not it should be in it, and he put it in it. I told Boom as a joke, if he wanted to sign me to HXW, he'd need to put in the shed, and I'd join, and he did. But now the shed's gone, so I think contractually I have to quit.
So you have no shed? You have no home?
No, I have no shed at the moment. I have one shed, and I have one shed, and it's in the AMO Discord for AMO Wrestling, and that's because I made the Discord, and I thought, to hell with it, I will have a shed in that Discord. It's pretty much dead meme.
One.
Well, it's pretty much dead meme now.
Better than none.
Well, yeah, definitely. But yeah, it was definitely one of the highlights. I remember spending hours in that Discord.
Fucking every time I would come in there, either Carter or Breon would put poo emojis or fire, and then I'd ask them in the management chat what the fuck happened, and Carter would be like, someone set fire to it. And I participated in it too. It was just funny.
Yeah, oh god, it was. I never took offense to it. I was never like, this guy's need to stop.
They couldn't be mature, damn it. So people kept taking a shit in the corner, and that was the final straw. That's unsanitary. I'm looking at you, G.
Well, yeah, I mean, to me, I think people... I don't know, whenever something good happens, people either piggyback it or they hate it. I mean, detectives at the moment, we got people piggybacking the detectives, whether or not they mean to or not, but that's just me.
That happens.
Yeah,
it happens. Yeah. Like with Uprising, when we first announced it and we started taking women seriously, there were other companies that started taking women seriously, and this wasn't even we're not the first people to have an all women, like a women's division, like an actual serious women's division, and have an all women show. We weren't the first, but then people started taking it because we were doing it and started building off of that, and that's great. That's all I ever wanted for women. It wasn't me coming in and putting my ego on the line like some people have, and being like, this is my thing, I made this is what I did, blah blah blah. It was, okay, go ahead and take that idea. Women deserve more opportunities. If you find it on COH and you think that would work in your company, then fucking do it. Like, that's what I wanted from the women. But as far as like individual ideas, I do see that happen a lot with COH and other companies that watch our products kind of take our ideas and implement them into their own. And even sometimes poach our talent, like.
I've been told. I'll tell you this for free. I have been told by multiple people, "Oh, we only signed you because you were doing big things in Honor Bound." I have been told that to it, and it's like, oh, so you didn't sign me because I'm doing because we're buddies. You signed me because you saw me being an asset in Honor Bound.
Exactly, and the thing is that they can take the person, they can't do the same thing that we do because we keep everything so quiet. Like, we don't talk about plans in public. We talk about it to our roster. Like, the whole way that we've done things in the past couple years that I've been in management, I feel as though have been efficient and have been different and make us a good product. And even with all of that, like, without Lions, you can't have the same result, you know? So Lions or Tone or Carter or myself or Breon, like, you can't have the same result without the same people. So it's a group effort.
It is a group effort, and I think it's working out. I mean, with COH, definitely people see something that happens in there and people take it. I think people, if someone sees something go over, you see it in wrestling, in real life wrestling. Let's say the Fiend comes around and you see people going, I have a Fiend persona. AJ Styles was getting a lot of traction. And then they're calling themselves like doing AJ Styles stuff. It just happens. I think people take a lot of influence from what's happening in the now. I'm waiting for the day someone goes around saying, I'm a private investigator, to which day I will shoot them. That's not a joke or anything. The Detectives is something I love to bits, but the Shed, I'm glad no one recreated the Shed, because I think in a lot of cases, yes, they put Townsend Shed, but I was waiting for the day someone did like My Shack or some shit. Like,
yeah.
I'm willing to fight for what I believe is mine, and I think the Shed idea, albeit not mine directly, I think you helped a lot with it, but I kind of owned it. I got lines in that Shed.
For sure.
I kind of got lines in that Shed, and that was probably my biggest moment in life. Boom dabbing, I think. Don't want to say it's mine, but I came into that stream, no one was talking, and I said, "Boom, dab if this match loads." It loaded. He dabbed, and then everyone then got really heated over the dab, and then it became an emoji. The Detectives, I think a lot of that goes to Crude more than me. I think Crude made it fun. Crude came up with the idea, so he wanted to make a movie in court about Bobby Brown, who was his sidecar, who was a master guy, and he said, who killed Bobby Brown, right? A bit of a thing about who killed Roger Rabbit, or who framed Roger Rabbit. And he wanted me and himself to be the detectives to find out who killed it. And then I was like, this works. We can move this into HXW. And then we did. And it was great. So at the time, to HXW, I was like, you either put me in a tag team with someone I like MT or Crude, or don't book me, because at the time I was just there, like, you were like, I don't know, I think I was just disliking core in general, but I was just like, don't book me, I can't be bothered to promo a Mike.
Everybody's got those moments.
But like,
everyone.
But Crude really blew fresh life into me, and I was like, holy shit. And he's generally quite a nice guy,
and that's how I felt with, because like I told you before, like I felt so down and out and not supported, and then like Iris came in, and you know, because I'd been having storylines with people who were selfish and didn't want to give. It always had to be about them. Yeah, and I didn't know what to do. Like it was constantly an argument to like be like, you know, you can't always win. You don't always have to be on top. Like that's the part of a storyline. Like, you have to be able to give and take, not take all the time, which is what made them unsuccessful, and they ended up having to leave. But then I got an Iris storyline, and, you know, I got an Andrea storyline, and then everybody and their mom started picking up that slack and, you know, really rebuilding and rebranding the Uprising division into one that it should have been in the first place. And I think people need to understand, again, like, it's not always about you, and it's not about you at all. It's what story you can put on in order to promote and get something out of the storyline. Like, it's Andrea was a breath of fresh air, Iris was a breath of fresh air, Amber Reed is a breath of fresh air, Tora and Sarah, like everybody, this whole Uprising division, all the women in CAW, they're a breath of fresh air because there's so much creativity. Like, oh my god, not even just like Uprising, like other divisions as well, like and Simmers, oh my god, like where the fuck would we be without Simmers? Like, they're so fucking creative. Just take Fame for example, like, holy shit, those graphics, are you serious? Like, that stuff's fucking dope. I love CAW.
everyone's very passionate, and I think it's worked out very well for everyone. It's just one of those things. Now, Lexie, we could talk here forever, but I feel we need to. I feel we need to focus a little bit more because we need an episode 2. I'll look forward to an episode 2. I think this has been a very genuine experience, and I'm learning a lot more about the women's struggles than I did before. So, quickly tell us, other than so your main goal is booking. Do you have any other future projects? Do you want to dabble in a bit of sim, or do you want to join anywhere else, or just become?
Fun fact about me: I was a simmer at first. I did sim, and Jin was my mentor, and I was in TNG the first season with Andy Jaden and a couple other people. I think Katya and Barbie were in there. My screen went down. But yeah, I simmed for a bit, and I just didn't like it. Like, I have a sim match out there; it's out there. I just did not like it. It's a lot of work, and like, shout out to Ace Falcon, one of my best friends since I started in the community. He trained me on how to sim and everything as well. But it's just I don't have the time, so I dedicate myself more to EFED. And I did have the Twitch Women's Invitational. And I was going to do that a second time, but things fell through, and people ended up being assholes. And I decided not to go through with that. But the only project that I have left to do is just to work on the Uprising division and continue to think of ideas for them.
Which sounds fair to me. So be more focused on like what's next for the women's division and what is next. Have you dabbled in any ideas such as like women tag titles?
Women's what titles? I'm sorry.
Tag titles.
Tag titles. All right, so I'm trying to think of whether or not okay, so I don't care. We had Insurgency, okay, and we had somebody in the company that wanted to start a tag division, and they fought for it. And at first, I was for it because I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, the tag titles would be dope." And then I was like, "We don't have enough tag people that want to do this. Like, nobody's interested in that. Like, we have Sarah and Tora, and then we had Insurgency at the time, and it didn't seem like it was going to be a good fit. And Lions wanted it. He still wants it. He thinks it can happen, but I put my foot down and I said no, because I think we need to focus on other things before, because like at the time we had just gotten the Intercontinental title, and I was like, let's focus on building that up for a year, and then we'll revisit this conversation. We didn't have the tag teams at the time. We don't have the women for that right now, and I don't think anybody's really interested in that kind of thing. If they are, they can tell me different, but it was just kind of a waste of time to even entertain it if we don't have the people for it. I think it is something that could happen in the future, and I think if people come in with a tag team and they're not putting each other down, or one's not trying to uplift themselves over the other, we could get something popping there. But when we were thinking of the idea, we didn't have the people that we wanted. So possibly in the future, you never know. I didn't think we were going to get a second title, but you never know.
I'm looking forward to it. I think. I think it's something that happened. I think it is the case that you need to focus on more pressing matters and concerns. But it's an idea. And you can't kill off an idea per se. Now, for someone who's been in the community longer than I have, what dream matches? And you've done pretty much all of it. But what dream matches do you have currently on who you would like to face?
If Jin would come back to EFED, Jin.
Oh.
Yeah, Jin. I want to fight Tone and Lions. I really do. Eventually, when Intergender Wrestling gets put into these games, I'd love to fight them. I've always been very vocal about that. Like in 2019, the Problematics were just starting, and I was in like this slutted up suit, and I loved it. And I had like this bikini top and these really short shorts on, and for some reason we ended up doing a triple power bomb on Lions, and that is the highlight of my career in COH and call in general, because like just seeing this tiny like 5'3" woman just powerbomb the shit out of this grown ass man is just everything. So I definitely want to fight. I want to fight my husband, and I want to fight Lions
Well,
and Jen.
yeah, I hope intergender wrestling comes back into the game. Well, because it was in what game was it that it was allowed? God, they took it out. Was it 2005?
I think so. I think 2006 had it.
Oh, I'm not too sure. We'll have to consult the encyclopedia of all wrestling
Yeah, I'll
games
have
later.
to ask my husband. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to consult him later about it. But regardless, I think hopefully it comes back in. The new virtual basement game said they're gonna do it. I don't know if anyone will jump to that. To me, I think it's gonna be overhyped and then it's gonna flump. Like people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, it's so good," and it's gonna have like core fundamental issues. Like,
Wow, y'all have no faith in this virtual basement game. You and Lions, my god.
I think people have overhyped it to shit. The amount of people who have said this is like the saving grace to core. Oh my god, this is gonna fundamentally fix everything. Nuh-uh, man. Like everyone's looking at this shit thinking, oh my god, this is gonna fix core completely, fix all of our problems. We'll never have 2K again. This game's gonna have its own problems. People are hyping this up as if it's like not gonna have a single problem. I bet it's gonna fucking flump. I bet people are gonna look at it and think this is a big pile of dog shit. And if we wanted to do this, we should have gone a Matt Dickey game and just done a fucking wrestling 3D for core. Because that, like, I genuinely think that's gonna happen. I genuinely think the playability is awful. Because people have overhyped it to make this god of a game. I won't say it's awful. I think it'd be alright, but because they've overhyped it, I won't be happy with it. But I will say that with competition comes innovation, and maybe them even existing will make WWE 2K think, oh fuck, there's an alternative, we better make our games the best to make people want to buy them. And
I want 2K to pull their head out of their asses and give the women more customization options, because the fact that I have to choose between having tits, hips, or ass, like, that's fucking ridiculous. There's so many unrealistic body types in that game, and like, I'm in real life, I'm a plus size woman. I'm not like pear shaped or anything. I'm just straight up and down. And you know, that isn't really represented in the game. Like, there are women with hips. That's not really, it's represented in this game, but you know, some people have hips and ass. Some people have hips and titties. Like, it's and hair. Oh my god, everybody else and their mom has the same fucking hair, and it's because they don't give the women customization options.
I think it's
But
the
if I
same
wanted to
for
make
both men and women. The customization options are fucked. Like,
Right, but if I wanted to make a male call, I would have more hair options. I'd have more clothing
definitely yes.
options.
But
Right,
if you look, right, I'll use 3 people as an example. Liam Mercer, Tyson Brooks, and PJ Moon all fit the fucking, I say PJ Moon, Paul Motor, all fit the build of bald people, and they look the same. And it's, I don't mean that as any put down of anyone else, but like, they all look the same. And you look at Townsend and Blackheart. Townsend just looks like a chubby Blackheart. You do have the discrepancies of people looking the same.
Right.
You really do have to go out of your way to make yourself look different.
Yeah.
Like, I feel Courtney looks different because I don't see a lot of EFED talent on the women's side have like fully colored hair, like purple. I don't see a lot of that. I see Lulu being the rabbit and that gimmick, but you also see another Lulu with the same rabbit hair and stuff like that, and it's just like there is not.
I think it's the personality that makes the character.
Exactly,
Like,
and definitely.
We have to rely so heavily on our personalities and to be
exactly, because
so weird and, like,
I don't want to piss off Liam Mercer, Tyson Brooks, or Paul Motor saying they all look the same and that means they are the same. I'm not saying that at all. I just say they look similar, they look the same, and it's just like like you could say the same for pretty much.
Right, if you're listening, don't take offense to it. It's funny.
No, but I you could say the same for a lot of people. Like I said, I look like a chubby Blackheart.
Right.
Bill, I look like a chubby
I look like
Bill
another
Burr.
simmer that I know, and I completely made my face texture from scratch. Like, that's all me, and my morph and everything. That's all me. But I also look different from the girls on the roster. Like, we all look different. Like, we all represent different things. So, yeah, I just want more customization out of the game.
The
And
customization is very
also-
limited, like generally, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Like it takes someone. I don't know how long it took Coach Dave to make his face, but his face looks completely different to everyone else. But I know he's done a lot of morphing to it. Like
Dave.
Coach Dave.
Oh! I know who you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. You see it with a lot of people. They just look so similar. Like you could probably make the argument Adam Richards looks like Johnny Miles and stuff like that. You know, you could probably make the argument for all of this, and I think it's not just a woman's problem. I think it's a genuine problem for everyone. You know, like
I just personally speaking, I don't give a shit about the men. I care about the women, and that's I don't mean disrespect when I say that, and I truly hope nobody takes it that way. But I don't care about men's wrestling. I care about women because they're so overlooked. So I just think like men, you guys have more options to customize your character, and I think you guys need more body options and shit because that's ridiculous that you don't have that many. Because like there are some chubby wrestlers that aren't like super muscular in other places. Like there should be more customization options for you guys as well. But women have had the same stuff for 3 years now.
well, my
They
one
need to step
defining
up.
change, my one defining thing that made me Townsend is broken in this game. That's the long ass beard. It's broken.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they said they fixed it, but as soon as you play it, goes like, so it made it to a point where it just wouldn't load when you put it on. It was just like a little one strand of hair basically, and it looked dreadfully bad. But as soon as they said they fixed it, as soon as you play it, that beard flies around. Like sure, I probably like if I wanted to crash Lions game every time I was booked, I would.
He'd be
definitely put it
pissed. He
on.
wouldn't book you.
Yeah, I'd put it on if I wanted to piss people off. But
Right.
it like generally
That and sunglasses piss him off.
when I tested that beard, it crashed on me 3 times. I loaded that game just to see what it was like, and it crashed on me 2 out of the 3. Like it's
Yeah, that
generally
game's
broken. So like
Yeah.
it's annoyed me that I've had to like got rid of it, but I think Townsend looks better without it, I guess. But it, like the customization is just dreadful, and I think people hyping up this virtual basement game to be the be all and end all, the only things that ever matter.
We'll see when that customization shit comes out. We'll see.
We'll see.
And Create Arena.
And if it's a great product and everyone if it lives up to the hype everyone's giving it, I will come on this podcast and I'll say you were all right, I was wrong. Oh well, but I
You have
doubt
to
it will
eat crow.
happen.
Like physically eat a crow.
I'm not eating a crow. God no.
No?
No.
Why not?
You know how much diseases are in crows? There's more disease in crows
Yeah,
than
but
bats.
it's a delicacy in some places. You can get it from a grocery store.
Bats are
But you have
delicacies
to
in
eat
some places, and they caused a worldwide pandemic. Doesn't mean I'm gonna
Oh,
eat like
Lord.
just because they're a
Oh,
delicacy
Lord.
does not mean like I don't eat a crow and start like COVID-20. You know, like
Oh, Lord.
it is.
I don't think that'll happen, but I think you should. I think you should eat a worm or something. I think you should, or whatever you hate, whatever foods you hate, you have to eat one bite of it.
When's Virtual Basement coming out? Do you think?
I think sometime in December. I don't know.
Oh god, no, I wouldn't be doing that then. I don't know. Maybe
But you have to
I'll
do
figure something out.
something.
Well, if it was gonna come out next week, I'd shave my head. But because lockdown may end in December and I've got people to impress, I will not shave my head. I don't know, maybe karaoke. Maybe a bit of karaoke, a bit of a holding out of a hero for
You
By
can
Bonnie
think of
Tyler.
something. You'll come up. You'll
Well,
come up with
I
something.
still think it'll be a shit house of a game, and I think when it is a shit house and I'm laughing at people thinking, ha ha ha, you wanted to replace 2K.
I'm
it'll be funny.
optimistic.
Well, I'm just not optimistic. I mean, it's overhyped, and I'm annoyed that people overhyping it is like the be all and end all. Like it's not. Stop overhyping it. You're hyping it up to a point where if I get excited for it and it flops, I'll be annoyed. You know, I'm not.
Right.
That's why I'm just being
Well,
so
and you know
hostile to it.
what? That's 2K's fault because 2K hyped us up for this game and said they had that guy come on Dank Out's podcast and was like, or YouTube channel and was like, we've been working so hard on 2K20 this year, and then it comes out and it's shit. Nobody's hair moves. I'm glitching through the fucking ring
Beards don't
during an
work.
entrance. Like you can't
Tag
upload
entrances
cause.
don't work. Tag entrances don't
Right.
work. Royal
Luke
Rumbles
Harper's
don't
glitched.
work.
Like, come on.
Yeah, it's a fucked game, and I think
Yeah.
if anything, it's proven how us as people have worked past it to still provide a product.
Mhm.
and unfortunately that's just the case. I mean, Sim's fucked. Like, you can't do Sim on 2K20. You have to go on 2K19
Right.
and all this, that, and other.
Hopefully they keep them servers up. That's what I want. I want them to keep servers up for 19 until 2021 comes out.
Yep, I think it's just going to be a case now where we're just going to cross our fingers and hope. It's not going to be 2K21, is it? It's going to be 2K22, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, well, hopefully they knock it out of the park for 2K22, because they will damn need to, or otherwise I will go to
Yeah.
a Matt Dickey game, and I'll do Matt Dickey Wrestling, or I'll do Fire Pro Wrestling.
We'll take COH to Minecraft. I can't give an official statement on
Oh,
that, but I
bro,
would want
if you
to
had,
fucking Minecraft.
bro, Townsend would wreck in Minecraft. I'd rock the Steve skin. No one would be able to beat me. Think of all the sequences I could do. I could do a diving axe handle off the top rope. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking
like
forward to it now.
Mm.
But it is what it is. We'll have to see. Anyway, so we got over dream matches. We've gone over your future projects. We've had a good conversation. I'm enjoying this. But again, we need to save up a little bit for episode 2. We need to save a little bit for episode 2. So as we end off every podcast, we tend to do a game. Now, it's been brought to my attention I've done a bit too much of the Mount Rushmore. So we're going to go back to a little bit of the word association. So I'll say a word and you'll say someone in core, whether it be male, female, or Apache helicopter. You can tell me who you think best fits the word. And then I can either agree or disagree or just keep quiet, whichever one you fancy. Anyway, so we'll roll out with the first word, and that is breakout. As in, who's a breakout superstar? Yeah, who's taken it by storm?
Two people that are coming to mind, and I don't want anybody to like get upset. Oh, 3 people. Oh my god. Yeah.
Well,
2 people that come to mind to me are Andrea, Amber Reed, and Carmen.
I agree with all 3 of those names. One thing I will say, if you're not mentioned, don't get mad.
Yeah, please don't, because like I'm just thinking off the top of my dome. Like so many people on our everyone on our roster is a breakout star in my opinion. But if I had to sit down and think about what's happened in the last season, it would 100% be Andrea, Amber Reed, and Carmen.
Exactly.
Because Iris was breakout last year.
Yeah, well,
I
if you're upset by not being mentioned, I think.
Yeah, you can take that up with yourself because I really don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the amount, like the whole fucking point of the game is that it's supposed to be quick thinking.
Right.
You know? Anyway, so next one, hardworking.
Does it have to be a woman?
It doesn't have to be a woman. It can be man, woman, or Apache helicopter.
Hardworking would have to be Tone White and Breon Johnson.
I agree with both of those.
Yeah.
Consistent. Who's consistent? You can get this. You can get a good. You can go up to them and say, "Hey, listen, I need a promo, and it's gonna be good every single time."
Every single time. I'm gonna say Lions. Only because every single Lions, Tone, and Breon, like those are the only 3 that I think of because I only pay attention to COH products, because those are the days where I can really give some flexibility. But literally Carter, Breon, Tone, and Lions, it's just consistently good. It's just and Mercer. Oh my god, it's just consistently good.
Okay. So we got. Let me just tick them off because otherwise I'm going to say the same one twice, and we don't want that. How about charismatic? Who is the most charismatic person you can think of? Who is someone that you
Andrea.
feel? Andrea. That's fair. I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
Hot, not as in the visual appeal, but hot as in like they're doing great right now.
Andrea.
Oh, Andrea high up there. She's like the Messi in FIFA, like when they're rated 99.
Yeah.
Hidden gem.
Hidden gem?
Yes.
2 people. Okay. So Breon Johnson, because he is literally and I know, oh my god, people are gonna shit on me because he's my best friend, but I see how much hard work and dedication that he puts into his call and how he helps other people, etc. And it just pisses me off that his call like keeps losing when he gets these really big chances. I think, and he should have been a world champion 5 times over right now. I don't think that, and my husband's gonna get mad at me for saying this, but as much as I love him, I don't think Tone White should be champion. I think it should be Breon Johnson. He should be up there with the Lions and Tone.
He's gonna come
as far
stomping
as
in
like
right
greats.
now. You're arguing with Notorious. You're arguing with Notorious. He's gonna come in with Notorious next time. Like, you just come to the ring, Problematics, Happy Days. Notorious comes down and goes, "You said he should be the world champion."
Yeah.
And then he'll call.
Yeah. No. And as far as a hidden gem, say Iris, because she doesn't, as much as I feel like in the last year she's really come into herself, because at first she came in and she was kind of playing the dumb girl shtick, but she is so smart and she has so much potential. It's just that she needs to believe in herself in order to get to that point, you know? So those are my 2 people.
Well, I think this one you can't put a woman forward for this one.
Okay.
Best beard.
Best beard. You and Bill Dern.
Oh, I'm on the same par as Bill Dern. Hell yeah.
Let's not get carried away, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's on the subject of Bill Dern. How is it that he's the only member? Is he the only member of the Problematics Hall of Fame? I'm pretty sure he's
Yes,
the only
he
member.
is.
2 times,
He is
right?
the only member of the Problematics Hall of Fame. Tone is not in the Problematic Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but
He should be, though. He's incredibly problematic.
So, Bill Dern, what's the appeal that you and Breon have towards Bill Dern?
So, my obsession started because usually I pick people to harass, and Bill just so happened to be one of them. Knowing Bill, and now I've actually physically met Bill in person. I took him out to lunch. And knowing how he is in person and how funny he is and how sweet he is.
Oh, you're lucky. I want to take Bill Dern out for lunch.
He's so sweet. I love him so much.
Bill didn't tell me he got
literally
taken out to
deserves the world.
lunch. This is bullshit. I'm gonna get on the next plane.
Yeah, I took him and Lions out to lunch. We all went out together.
What?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm gonna get a plane. I'm gonna come to, where is it again?
I'm not gonna give out their location.
Let's not do that on podcast.
Right, it's the United States, but
that's a lot.
The day of the first XFL game. We all sat in the pizza place and we asked the lady to put on the XFL game, and she looked at us all like we were fucking nerds.
Oh, I'm just amazed that you met Bill Dern in real life.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to either, but like I think Breon, because I literally talked to Breon almost every day, and at that time it was like every day. But I called him and he was like, "You should meet up with Bill Dern. He was down there." And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, okay." And then I messaged Bill and I was like, or I told Tony to message Bill, and I was like, ask him if he wants to come out to lunch with us. And Bill was like, "Yeah, I got some time. Why not?"
Man, that's
Met
crazy.
him. He was super nice and he gave me a hug, which was like the sweetest thing ever. Lions didn't give me a hug. He gave me a too sweet. I guess he was like hip to Corona before I was, but you know, it was a good time. I had fun with them. They were fucking hilarious.
Man, this is what we miss out in Britain. I mean, the only people we can meet up with is fucking weirdos. We all know the weirdo I'm referencing. God damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
well.
I will say the weirdo I'm referencing, he followed me on Instagram, and I pissed myself scared. I was like, oh, blocked.
Oh, I'm not gonna spend too much time on him because.
Oh, don't. I've just been bringing up for the story.
Yeah.
The last thing I didn't know. How come Bill didn't tell me? That's gonna be the next thing I interrogate him on. How dare you go see other people other than me?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, you know, Tone was there too, so.
Oh damn! You all went out.
It was kind of like 2 of the biggest people in car.
4 of my favorite people going out.
Yeah, and having
without
horrible
me.
pizza.
Without me.
It's awful.
Well, you lot need to come to the British Isles. I'll take you places. I'll take you all to.
I'll trust you.
Hell yeah. We'll go to shit.
I'm gonna go to Nando's.
I don't know. I've never been to a Nando's.
Never?
Never. No.
Shit. Okay, it'll be first for the both of us.
Well-
I think there's one in the U.S.
Yeah, well, in Britain, right? I'm in a village.
Mhm.
I'm in like a small little village, a dainty little village, right? So that means
Mhm.
if I want, my nearest McDonald's is 20 miles away.
Oh my god. Okay, so Townsend.
Yeah.
There's literally a Nando's in Townsend, Maryland.
There's a place called Townsend, Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not living in it,
No.
bro. There's a fucking place called after me. I colonized that. I'm the redcoat that made that place. Hell yeah.
I think it's right near where Thomas's family is. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, those are the two people we've met. We've met plenty of people in COD. Breon's next. Shockingly, we haven't met because we're best friends. But I've met Zach and Nay, and Joey, and Lions and Bill.
Well, next time y'all want to come over for NXT Takeover Cardiff, which is a fantastic show, you should all
Yes,
watch
we
it.
will fly overseas to just specifically see NXT and you.
Will you? I mean, that sounds sarcastic. That sounds real sarcastic.
See, that's really expensive. I'm a little
Oh,
cheap,
definitely.
So.
Fly on Ryanair. They're like the Irish airline that make you like. You know what Ryanair is? It's like the cheapest airline in the world, and like you pay cheap and you get cheap. You know, like,
Right.
and it's pretty much memed of how much like the guy who owns Ryanair wanted to make it standing room only so you could fit more people on.
Fuck.
Yeah, he's crazy. Like, he'd probably sell the fucking, like, you know how you're supposed to have apparently as well, he's also asked for, like, you know how you're supposed to have 2 pilots in a plane at a time, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He asked to remove one of the pilots because it's an extra rage to just get rid of. It's mental. Like,
Ridiculous.
but
People
like,
think-
if you want to
people
cheaply
do
get
for
from
money.
if you want to cheaply get away from the A to B, like, Ryanair's your guy. Like,
Right.
they know they're a cheap fucking service, so they own it and be like, yo, if you want to get there and cheaply, come over us. Like, someone worked it out. If you wanted to buy a bus from like Scotland to London, it would cost you more than a Ryanair flight. It's
Jesus.
fucking crazy. It's one of those things though. Anyway, so we've done Best Beard. Let's talk about Ray of Sunshine. That's the word. Next word. Who is a ray of sunshine that generally brings
ray of
joy to
sunshine.
your heart every time you see him, and you're just there like, what a nice guy.
My husband.
Aww. Let me
That's the only person that makes me happy like that.
let me just make a note of the time so I can edit in a big old aww from like the fucking audience. I'm not gonna do that. That'll take me way too long, and it'll probably make me stressed and cry.
As frustrated as I've been with Ka, and you know, he and I have gone through our own fair amount of shit, but he's my ray of sunshine. So
Aww.
yeah,
Aww.
love.
Now, one to watch. Who is someone to watch because they're going to be the next big thing? They're going to be
Andrea.
the
And Amber Reed.
Andrea. Just writing down Andrea.
And Lulu.
Andrea is featured in most of these. Funnily enough.
That is my girl, okay? Like that is the person that I'm putting like all my effort behind. Her and Lulu, I definitely think they've got something. I know they can do something. Just like looking at Lulu and the charisma that exudes off of her car, I think she's got something serious. So I think her and Andrea will be really good. I'm looking forward to whatever Amber Reed has to do. You know,
Well,
Iris is going through a transitional period right now, so I'm looking forward to what she has to do.
I will say this from
Mhm.
the fact that CAC was a thing. We did approach
Mhm.
Lulu. Lulu did say yes, but then she said no. But that's besides the point. But the plan was for her and Andrea just to go at it.
Oh, really?
They'd be like the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar storyline. Like, they'd be the guys that constantly go at it. Like, they were built. They were gonna be built like to a point. They were just gonna like.
There are people in the division that I definitely want to face before I go, and seeing all these women like originally the idea was that Lulu was gonna debut and fight me for my title, and I didn't think it was a good idea because my car has a tendency of bearing 79s, and because every time you come into COH, or if you're new and you come into COH, you start out as a 79 overall, and I felt as though she was gonna get buried, so I said no.
Yeah.
When she gets her stuff together and she gets bumps up to like an 80 something, I definitely could see her coming for my title. Like, and the only reason why I have it now is because
Oh.
I genuinely do. Start attacking me. If the girls are listening to this, step the fuck up and start fucking attacking me. Like, call me a bitch. I know I am.
Can you just repeat just before you said start attacking me, because my net might have cut out a little bit, so we didn't hear everything you said.
If the girls are listening to this, start attacking me. Like, I don't, my title, I've had this title. So I'm the Tone White of this division, okay? I've had the title so many fucking times. I've broken records. I've done all there is to do. Fucking attack me, for God's sakes. Like, do what you need to do, girl. Just capitalize off of it. I can't speak because I'm working, and now I have my own little business. So, you know, do what you need to do, girl. Start attacking Isabella Ventura. She's there. She is the target. Go ahead.
She's
do
got
it.
a target on her back. She's put it on, ladies and gentlemen. So you have to go
Yeah.
after her.
Yeah. If you're interested in COH and interested in being the Uprising division, promo against me. Start fucking calling me out. Like, tell me I'm a bitch and a slut, or Isabella Ventura is not Lexie, because if you come for Lexie, then I'm gonna have to come for you. But say Isabella Ventura is a bitch and a slut and a hoe and all that shit. And, well, not a slut and a hoe, don't say that. But, like, she's a bitch because she doesn't put her title up, or she's whatever. Don't, just do what you have to do. But, expect some feedback, because you're gonna come for the queen. I gotta give you some pointers. So
I look forward to it.
yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Me too.
Well, another word. Ooh, competitive. Who's competitive and always tries to outdo someone else? Well, not outdo someone else, but is always trying to get better.
Always trying to get better. I don't know. From a woman's perspective, I feel like it's pretty much on. They're all fighting for something. It's just not quite clear what they're fighting for. The only person that really tries to get better that I know of, and this is just again what I know of. I don't know too many people. But the person that always tries to get better is you, to be honest. And
Is who?
You.
Oh, I thought you said like view. The view is in like I thought that's someone's like last name. Thank you for the compliment. I mean, like, geez.
Yeah, you and G.
Thank you for the compliment.
You guys always look for feedback and try to get better. And most of the people on Honor Bound look for feedback and try to get better. I know Ray Mercer does as well. He's on the main roster, but I know Ray Mercer does as well. Tries to look at what he can do better, and the answer is always nothing because he's gold. But yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for the compliment ever so much. Now, last and final word, pioneer.
Nay. And Zoe and myself.
I agree.
Yeah.
They
Like,
fundamentally...
if the pioneer for us specifically in COH, like, and oh my god, pioneer for all the women, in my opinion, is Jen. To be honest, if we're going back, like, giving women inspiration and always allowing people to be themselves, it's always going to be Jen for me. But in COH, it's going to be me, Zoe, and Nay.
Well, I agree. Nay worked fundamentally very hard in Redacted Fed.
Yeah.
To boost that women's division, and
yeah,
like she worked fundamentally hard. Yourself,
yeah.
You worked very fundamentally hard for COH. Like, all of them worked very hard. All of them.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we will have to call it an end for today, because otherwise, because we could probably go on and on and on for God knows how long, but I'm aware that we may
I
need
haven't
to
even
do some.
told or scratched the surface on my experience in CAW. Like,
We'll
like there's
we'll
so
have to
much
get
more
into
I
it.
could say. Right.
We'll definitely have to get into it. I'm very much looking forward to episode 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm fundamentally looking forward to it. Thank you ever so much for coming on.
No problem.
Episode 7. This is the first time in a while I've said I have no idea who the fuck is going to be episode 8. So we're gonna have to work out that in this coming week. But like I said, thank you ever so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you everyone who's watching right now, whether it be live or on the YouTube after it's gone live on the premiere. Thank you ever so much, and good night.